Welcome back to FernClan. It's amazing that I'm already on year 5. It seems like I only just started this clan. We've got quite a few new couples this year, as well as a litter of kits and more on the way. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. But, of course, there is always the usual trigger warnings of animal death, and I also briefly mention child abandonment in this video as well. Proceed at your own risk. Our first death this year was, tragically, Mousepaw, who succumbed to yellow cough on the first time skip. While that wasn't particularly surprising, it's always a terrible thing when a kitten dies. To make myself feel better, I drew him with Charredpaw, who you may remember is Ashen Whisker and Shrubfreckle's brother. Based on Charredpaw and Mousepaw's thoughts throughout the year, they seem to have bonded in StarClan. I didn't record myself actually drawing Charredpaw, since I've already drawn him before and I didn't want to make this recording too long when I don't have much to say. Cicada Chaser and Silver Clover passed away of old age at 171 and 172 moons old, respectively. Cicada Chaser never believed in StarClan, so needless to say he was surprised to wake up here. Not that he's complaining. It's wonderful to be able to reunite with cats he thought were gone forever. Silver Clover knew she'd end up here, of course, and she was excited to see her old friends both from FernClan and LupineClan. She had been feeling weak for a while, but, much like when she was deputy, she stuck around until she knew FernClan was safe and settled. There haven't been any badgers living on FernClan territory in a few years, so when Rushglade stuck his head into what he thought was an abandoned set, he wasn't expecting to come face to face with its occupant. The rest of the patrol tried to help him, but the badger had the element of surprise on its side. As you might expect, the sudden loss of such a young and healthy cat was a shock to the entire clan. The first of the new couples this year, here's Fernstar and Riverspots, who are actually expecting kits. Riverspots asked Fernstar to be mates last year, but it just wasn't a good time, so she turned him down. This time, when he asked, she was ready. She's a bit worried about giving birth, given her age, but she's trying to keep it out of her mind. Fernstar lost a life fighting a dog this year, and also chased the kitty pet Bigwig off the territory. Riverspots hasn't done much. A few times he popped into the medicine den to make sure Streakpaw was eating enough, and he helped an injured bug despite his clanmates telling him it was silly. Shrubfreckle spent quite a few moons in the medicine den with a mangled tail and then a mangled leg, and in that time a romance ended up blossoming between him and Curlfall. They now have kits on the way, also, due around the same time as Fernstar's. Curlfall is irritated at everyone treating her differently now that she's pregnant, although by now she's had to admit that she should probably take a break from her medicine cat duties and move to the nursery for a time. In these clans, medicine cats are allowed to have kits as long as there's another medicine cat in the clan, so don't worry that she's breaking the code. Shrubfreckle has really grown well into his deputy position this year. At a gathering, when RippleClan announced new warriors, Shrubfreckle led FernClan in cheering their names. His mangled leg ended up becoming permanently weakened, so now he has 2 permanent conditions. Streak Breeze is currently the only active medicine cat while Curlfall is in the nursery, and he's a bit stressed about it. His confidence took a big blow when he was unable to save his brother Mousepaw. Curlfall had to break the harsh truth to him that you cannot save everybody. Streakpaw had been very upset by this and considered giving up on being a medicine cat, but he stuck with it and has regained his passion for helping as many cats as he can. Such as Linkstripe, who is sick with green cough right now. Throughout this year, Linkstripe has been his usual charming self, sharing fresh kill and offering shelter from the rain. At one point he attempted to pioneer a new method of catching squirrels by baiting them with seeds and killing them when they come to eat. While it was very effective, his clanmates agreed that it wasn't worth the amount of effort. Dustflower has become FernClan's first mediator after learning about the role from Mole Clan elders at a gathering. At one point, she and Applegale were imagining a made-up clan together, which I thought was really cute father-daughter bonding. It's also hilarious that apparently warrior cats also have fan clans. Icefoot became a warrior on the first moon of this year, celebrated for his skill, which is incredibly generic, but whatever. He almost immediately was wishing to be chosen as the new deputy. Don't get ahead of yourself here, Icefoot, you only just became a warrior. Dustflower and Icefoot have become mates, which wasn't surprising to anyone in the clan, but it was a huge surprise to me, who doesn't check the relationship tab nearly often enough. As much of a surprise it was to me, though, they seemed like a really cute couple. At one point, Dustflower came back to camp sad that she'd failed to catch Icefoot's favorite prey, but he didn't care because he was just happy to see her. Conqueror was devastated by Mousepaw's death and spent a very long time grieving him. When Streakbreeze became a full menacing cat, the first thing he did was take Conqueror on a trip to the burial grounds with him. She liked spending time with her kit, even in such a somber situation, and appreciated that he thought to bring her there. This was another uneventful year for Bubbling Ash. At 2 separate times he was pointing out stars and constellations to his clanmates, and he's pretty sure he had a dream sent by StarClan. When he told Laurelblaze about it on patrol, though, Laurelblaze said Bubbling Ash probably just ate too many mice before going to bed. Applegale was saddened by Curlfall becoming mates with Shrubfreckle, even though he knew he never had a chance with her. She was the only cat he ever had any romantic interest in. They're all still friends, but this has just put a bit of a strain on that friendship. Thankfully, I don't see Applegale going on an Ashfur-style jealous rampage. In other news, he started to grow a little beard now that he's hit his middle age. At gatherings, the older Lupine Clan cats comment that it makes him look like his grandpa Storkstar, although he isn't entirely sure how to feel about that. Storkstar's bad decisions were the reason Applegale chose to leave Lupine Clan with the rest of FernClan's founders, after all. Possibly the biggest news of this year, Ashen Whisker decided the label of she-cat no longer fit, making him FernClan's first transgender cat. He and Swallowback also finally got together. It came along after Ashen Whisker overheard Swallowback telling another cat he had a crush on Ashen Whisker. Ashen Whisker approached him about this and confessed he felt the same way. And thank God for that, the tension was killing me. On their first patrol together as a couple, they got into a fight with a dog that left Swallowback with a nasty bite wound, but thankfully they drove the dog away and Swallowback made a full recovery. Our first new face in the clan is Alistair. We first encountered her when she was caught touching noses with Rift, and later she asked to join the clan. She hasn't done much because she's only been here a few moons, but she's very pretty and I like her a lot. Galeheart is proud of his sister becoming a mediator, even though he isn't entirely sure what that means. At one point, he and Riverspots were workshopping Tall Tales together, which is cute. But other than that, Galeheart hasn't really done that much this year. Sap Whisker has been in and out of the medicine den all year. First, she got a mangled leg while fighting a fox, which healed nicely, but now she has a dislocated shoulder after falling out of a tree. But also, early in the year, she and Icefoot ambushed a large dog, and Sap Whisker got a good strike on its face, chasing the dog away, leaving both cats without a scrape. Much like her sister, Locust Shade has been a bit reckless this year. At one point, she tried to catch a rabbit that was on Lupine Clan territory, and Linkstripe had to physically restrain her from doing so. She's young and doesn't fully understand the sheer threat that Lupine Clan, especially Red Star, pose. She and Sap Whisker aren't quite the inseparable duo they have been, as they've properly grown up into their own cats. At one point, Locust Shade found Sap Whisker crying alone after they had an argument. Locust Shade felt terrible and immediately apologized. Gold Beam hasn't done much of note this year. He's developed a small crush on Icefoot, not caring that Icefoot is already taken. Polyamory is totally on the table for the record, but Iceba only has eyes for Dustflower. Sorry, Goldbeam. At one point he thought he saw a cat, but it turned out to be a two-legged object that just looked like one. I think it was just a stuffed animal that some two-legged kid left in the forest. Moss Lilac was invited to the clan by Icefoot, but that's about as much as I know. Much like Alistair, she hasn't been here long enough to do anything of note. At one point, she and Rift looked at each other and smiled knowingly. I have no idea what that was about. Ivy Paw got carried away by an owl early in the year, and it took a few moons for the scratch marks to heal. They didn't leave any scars, which he's honestly a bit bummed about. He thought the scratches looked really cool. When he became a warrior, Ivy Pounce was honored for his sensitivity. Riftstream has become nervous as she's grown up. She takes her time paying great attention to details before making a decision. This was something she was honored for at her warrior ceremony, but Fernstar secretly worries that this hesitance may cost Riftstream her life in battle. When she was an apprentice, she followed some footprints and came across a rogue trespassing on the territory. She took a little too long to react and ended up getting clawed on her tail, which left a nasty scar. Laurelblaze finally retired near the beginning of the year, but now he and Riverspots are the clan's only elders. He's hoping Conquer will join them in there soon, because while they don't really get along that well, it would still be nice to have company. Laurelblaze was given some clovers to wear in his fur in memory of Silver Clover, which I think was a really sweet gesture. Finally, we have Thunder, who asked to join the clan shortly after giving birth to her litter of 3. The sweet Daydreamer Chestnut Kit, and her unruly siblings Air Kit and Cedar Kit. None of them have done much yet, because the kits are just babies and Thunder is still recovering from their birth. Air Kit was born with raspy lungs, and Thunder clearly dotes on him the most. Her own littermate had been born with the same condition, and their mother left her in the forest to die, and Thunder doesn't want to make the same mistake. She is determined to give Air Kit the best life he possibly can. Now, let's see how the other clans are doing. Lupine Clan finally chilled out this year. Enjoy it while it lasts, because Red Star has begun to verbally threaten FernClan at gatherings. At one point, Marigold Light was telling a clanmate that one day StarClan will call on them, for all their talents and determination, to help Lupine Clan. It's a nice sentiment, but also a bit scary coming from Marigold Light. In brighter news, Dahlia Honey took on another apprentice, the bold Cloudpaw. Mole Clan has been having issues with a rogue named Asgore, who has sent multiple cats, including Spikestar, to the medicine den. What makes this crazier is that Asgore is only 10 moons old. A yellow cough outbreak has left Eldersight the last survivor of her littermates as of the very last moon of the year, and she is obviously devastated by this loss. Creekbone chose his own name at his medicine cat ceremony, much to the other medicine cats' amusement. Creekbone was inspired by FernClan's newly started tradition of medicine cats wearing herbs, and has started to wear heather flowers in his fur. Palefeather has retired from his position as Ripple Clan's deputy, and was replaced by the cold and keen-eyed Plovercloud. There was a murder in Ripple Clan this year, and the game told me who the killer was, but nobody in the clan knows yet. I suspect it was probably the same cat who killed Lupine Clan's medicine cat apprentice Heatherpaw last year. And that wraps up Year 5 of FernClan. I think that, with kits on the way that have both parents in the clan, I am going to make a family tree starting next year. I'm excited to design these kits because Riverspots, Shrubfreckle, and Curlfall all have some cool features that they can pass down. See you next time. Goodbye. A small rustling noise awoke Streakbreeze in the middle of the night. He looked up and, with a start, saw Linkstripe sitting bolt upright and staring directly at him. While his eyes were open, he didn't appear to see. Was he sleepwalking? Streakbreeze opened his mouth to say something, but Linkstripe got to it first. "My brother has a message for you," he said in a flat, toneless voice. "Tyranny will end with the mixing of blood.